Meryl Streep. The name alone evokes reverence, admiration, and a certain mystique. With a staggering number of accolades and the ability to transform into virtually any character, she is often hailed as the greatest actress of our time. But behind the brilliance of her performances lies a life that has known its share of sorrow, hardship, and quiet endurance. This is not just a story of stardom, it's a human story, filled with struggles, heartbreaks, and resilience. This video takes a deep dive into Meryl Streep's personal and professional journey, her meteoric rise, the tragedies she has endured, the pressures of fame, and how she overcame it all to remain a beacon in Hollywood. Mary Louise Streep was born on June 22, 1949, in Summit, New Jersey. Raised in a middle-class family, her mother, Mary Wolfe Wilkinson, was an artist and commercial art editor, and her father, Harry William Streep Jr., was a pharmaceutical executive. Even as a young girl, Meryl showed signs of artistic talent. She would often put on shows for her family and loved mimicking voices and accents. She attended Bernard's High School in Bernardsville, New Jersey, where she took operatic singing lessons for several years. But it wasn't until she attended Vassar College that her passion for acting truly ignited. Streep later earned a Master of Fine Arts from the Yale School of Drama, where she honed her craft and prepared to take on the world. Streep's transition from a theater actress to a screen star was almost seamless. She made her film debut in 1977's Julia, but it was her role in The Deer Hunter 1978 that catapulted her to stardom and earned her the first of many Academy Award nominations. Throughout the late 1970s and 1980s, she delivered one powerhouse performance after another, including Kramer vs. Kramer, 1979, Sophie's Choice, 1982, and Out of Africa, 1985. But her success came with a price. Streep was known to be a perfectionist, often immersing herself so deeply into roles that it took an emotional toll. The rigorous demands of the film industry, coupled with her own high standards, began to shape her reputation as a formidable, yet sometimes emotionally taxed performer. One of the most tragic and defining moments in Streep's life was the loss of her partner, John Cazale. A fellow actor best known for his roles in The Godfather and Dog Day Afternoon, Cazale was in a committed relationship with Streep during the late 1970s. In 1977, he was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. At just 27 years old, Streep moved in with him and became his primary caregiver. She stayed by his side through his illness, even ensuring that he remained in the cast of The Deer Hunter, so he could complete what would be his final film role. Tragically, Cazale died in March 1978. His death devastated Streep, who rarely speaks publicly about the experience. The loss left a lasting scar and shaped her perspective on love, mortality, and resilience. It was one of the most defining personal tragedies of her life. Soon after Cazale's death, Streep found solace and companionship in sculptor Don Gummer. They married later in 1978 and would go on to have 4 children together. Their marriage, lasting over 4 decades, was considered one of Hollywood's strongest until it was quietly revealed in 2023 that they had been separated for more than 6 years. The news shocked fans and underscored the private challenges Streep has endured, even as she maintained a flawless public image. Despite the separation, she and Gummer have remained amicable, co-parenting and supporting each other's lives. Streep has often spoken about the difficulty of balancing motherhood with an acting career. Her children, Henry, Mamie, Grace and Louisa, have all grown up to pursue creative paths, with Mamie and Grace becoming actresses themselves. Despite her busy schedule, Streep always prioritized family. She rarely moved to Los Angeles, choosing instead to raise her children in Connecticut, far from the celebrity spotlight. This decision was rooted in her desire to provide a normal upbringing for her children, even if it meant sacrificing some professional opportunities. With each accolade came greater expectations. Streep's incredible ability to perform often masked the internal pressures she faced. In interviews, she has admitted to feeling like an outsider in Hollywood, someone who never fully conformed to its beauty standards or norms. In her early years, she was even told she wasn't pretty enough to be a leading lady. Such remarks fueled her determination but also left emotional bruises. She has often spoken about battling self-doubt and anxiety, especially in an industry that constantly scrutinizes women. While Meryl Streep has mostly enjoyed critical adulation, she hasn't been immune to controversy. Some have criticized her political activism, especially her outspoken support for liberal causes and criticisms of political figures. Her 2017 Golden Globe speech, where she criticized then-President Donald Trump, drew both praise and backlash. Additionally, some critics have accused her of cultural insensitivity in certain roles or questioned her portrayal of real-life figures. Yet, despite these controversies, she has remained a respected figure, often using her voice to advocate for causes she believes in. With 21 Academy Award nominations and 3 wins, as of 2025, Meryl Streep's legacy is unparalleled. She has portrayed a dizzying array of characters, from British prime ministers to fashion editors to chefs, and has always brought depth and nuance to every role. Her influence stretches beyond acting. Younger generations of performers look to her as a mentor, an icon, and a model of longevity in a cutthroat industry. Yet, what makes her truly remarkable is her humility. Even at the height of her fame, Streep has always maintained a level of grace, never appearing to take her success for granted. While she has never been one to court attention, Streep's heartbreaks have sometimes made headlines. The loss of John Cazale, her quiet marital separation, and the emotional strain of her career have all contributed to the deeper emotional layers visible in her performances. Her role in The Bridges of Madison County, for example, is often cited as one of her most heartfelt performances. Some believe it mirrors her own internal conflicts about love, duty, and sacrifice. Now in her mid-70s, Meryl Streep remains active in film and television. She has taken on roles in both mainstream and indie projects, proving that age is no barrier to excellence. Her recent appearances in films like Don't Look Up, 2021, and television series such as Big Little Lies have further cemented her relevance in the entertainment world. Though she has hinted at slowing down, her passion for storytelling continues to burn bright. Whether mentoring young actors, speaking out on social issues, or simply enjoying time with her grandchildren, Streep seems to have found a balance that eluded her in earlier years. Ultimately, what makes Meryl Streep's story so compelling is not just her success, but her humanity. She has faced devastating loss, navigated the complexities of love and family, endured harsh criticism, and battled inner doubts, all while delivering some of the finest performances in cinematic history. She is not just an icon, she is a survivor. A woman who rose from suburban New Jersey to global stardom, not by chasing fame, but by honoring her craft, her integrity, and her truth. As she matured in the industry, Streep began to venture behind the camera. She became a vocal advocate for more inclusive storytelling and helped produce films that centered on women's experiences and underrepresented voices. Through partnerships with like-minded artists and organizations, she began investing in independent projects and mentoring emerging talent. In 2015, she funded a screenwriting lab for female writers over 40, recognizing the lack of representation for women in screenwriting at midlife. This move was both a political and deeply personal statement, a way to ensure longevity and inclusion for future generations. The landscape of Hollywood shifted dramatically during Streep's career, and she was often at the forefront of that evolution. Her consistent demand for challenging, layered roles helped pave the way for stronger female characters in film and television. Directors, studios, and casting agents had to rethink their assumptions about what audiences wanted, because Streep proved that authenticity and talent trumped superficiality. She challenged ageism, gender biases, and the industry's obsession with youth. Her success beyond her 60s and 70s remains a beacon of hope for actresses facing marginalization in their later years. Though she has remained largely private about her health, there have been periods where Streep reportedly struggled with anxiety and emotional fatigue. Long working hours, intense roles, and the personal toll of inhabiting emotionally draining characters have been linked to physical and emotional exhaustion. In a few rare interviews, Streep hinted at the immense inner pressure she placed on herself to meet expectations, whether from directors, audiences, or her own perfectionism. She described suffering bouts of panic before performances and an imposter syndrome that lingered, even after decades in the industry. Though never officially diagnosed publicly, friends and colleagues have acknowledged that Streep's mental resilience has often been tested, something that makes her longevity and consistent brilliance all the more astonishing. Meryl Streep's filmography is a testament to the power of storytelling. From period dramas to modern-day thrillers, her choices reflect not just a keen artistic instinct but also a desire to push cultural conversations forward. Each role became a chapter in a cinematic revolution, crafted not merely for entertainment but to challenge perceptions and elevate emotion. Her portrayal of Sophie Zorostowski in Sophie's Choice remains a towering achievement, one that captured the haunting complexities of survival and guilt. In The Iron Lady, Streep's transformation into Margaret Thatcher was not only physical but psychological, revealing the human fragility beneath political rigidity. In Doubt, she portrayed a nun locked in a battle between faith and justice, striking a balance that only a master could maintain. Yet she also embraced comedy with equal prowess. The Devil Wears Prada redefined her for a new generation, delivering one of the most iconic lines in pop culture history with an icy smile. With Mamma Mia, she proved that joy and levity could coexist with gravity, charming audiences and expanding her fanbase. A crucial aspect of Streep's success lies in her relationships with directors, writers, and fellow actors. She frequently collaborated with filmmakers such as Mike Nichols, Steven Spielberg, and Nora Ephron, directors who recognized her rare emotional range and provided platforms for her talents to flourish. Her friendships with colleagues, such as Viola Davis, Stanley Tucci, and Robert De Niro, were based on mutual respect and creative synergy. Her ability to uplift those around her made her not just a great actress, but a beloved presence on set. She was known for mentoring younger actors, offering them advice on handling fame, navigating roles, and maintaining integrity. Beyond film, Meryl Streep has always used her voice for causes that mattered. She supported women's rights, environmental preservation, and LGBTQ+ equality long before it became common in Hollywood. She served as a spokesperson for the National Women's History Museum and was active in organizations like Equality Now and the Natural Resources Defense Council. In 2012, she donated a significant portion of her earnings from the Iron Lady to the Women's History Museum. Her speeches at award ceremonies frequently highlighted underrepresented voices, making her one of the most socially conscious celebrities in the industry. Behind the scenes, Streep was deeply philosophical. She often spoke about the spiritual weight of acting, the need to inhabit another person's reality fully. In interviews, she compared acting to empathy, a discipline that trains the soul as much as the mind. She read voraciously, wrote poetry, and even considered writing a memoir but hesitated out of humility. "I'm just an observer," she once said. "I live other people's stories, but I've never quite figured out how to tell my own." This introspective nature made her performances all the more poignant, as they stemmed from a well of contemplation and emotion. Aging in Hollywood is often equated with fading relevance, especially for women. But Meryl Streep shattered that myth. Even as she entered her 60s and 70s, leading roles continued to find her. Her presence made studios rethink how they cast older actresses, and her success created a blueprint for longevity in a notoriously ageist industry. She tackled aging with grace and honesty. "Aging is like climbing a mountain," she once said. "You get a little winded, but the view is better." Her confidence in growing older inspired not only actors but audiences, many of whom saw in her a mirror of their own evolving lives and experiences. As of 2025, Meryl Streep's legacy remains a work in progress. Whether acting, mentoring, or quietly supporting causes close to her heart, she continues to shape the cultural fabric of our time. She may eventually step away from the camera, but the world she leaves behind will forever carry her imprint. Young actresses will look to her journey as a guide. Filmmakers will study her performances to understand the subtle power of expression. And audiences will revisit her films again and again to feel something real, something human. This is the tragedy and triumph of Meryl Streep. A woman who bore the weight of brilliance, endured heartbreak behind the scenes, and yet never ceased to illuminate the screen. Her story reminds us that greatness is not born solely of talent, but of resilience, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to truth. If the story of Meryl Streep, the triumphs, the tears, the timeless performances, touched your heart, don't forget to show your support. Like this video if her journey inspired you. Comment below with your favorite Meryl Streep performance or moment. We'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to our channel for more videos that go beyond the headlines and dive deep into the lives behind the legends.